When nothing's going right in your life, you need a gentle morning routine, one that restores a sense of control. So in this episode, I'm going to share with you a simple, easy morning routine you can try when things aren't going right in your life. First, wake up on time. No matter what time you set your alarm, when it goes, wake up immediately. It's a small but profound act of keeping a promise to yourself. Don't underestimate the power of this tiny practice. When it comes to creating your morning ritual when nothing's going right, small things matter. Make your bed. As Navy SEAL Admiral McRaven said in his famous speech, it gives you a small sense of pride, and then you will do another task. Doing so reinforces that the little things matter. And after all, our biggest problems are solved with the tiniest actions done consistently. Making your bed sets your intention for the day to focus on the little things you can control. Because when things are not going right, we're focusing on the things we can't control, leaving us feeling helpless and hopeless. You have to let go of what you can't control. Let go of what's happened in the past. Let go of any expectation for the future. In this morning routine, let the actions be the end in itself. Oftentimes we do things as a means to an end to get somewhere else. But when you let the actions become the end in itself, that means when you pick up the toothbrush, instead of thinking about getting the brushing over with, or thinking about your to-do list, or congratulating yourself on doing a terrific poo, instead make your intention and focus on picking up the brush, feeling it in your hand, noticing the sensations and sounds as you brush. When you do so, you enter a deeper level of awareness. As Eckhart Tolle said, as soon as you honor the present moment, all unhappiness and struggle dissolve, and life begins to flow with joy and ease. You notice the phone is nowhere in sight, it's in another room, so I'm not tempted to check the phone first thing. Stretching is definitely something you should consider including in your morning routine. Stretching has shown to increase our serotonin levels, the hormone that helps stabilize mood. It reduces stress, makes you feel good, which helps reduce anxiety. For many years I wanted to be that person who does yoga, but I couldn't get round to it. Eventually my wife showed me a simple practice that I could do in 2 minutes. They're called sun salutations. I always feel better after even just 2 minutes of stretching. When doing the stretches, I'm paying attention to my body, noticing and feeling the stretches. I listen to my breathing. Jen says to hold the stretches for 10 seconds, so in my mind I count to 10, paying attention to each count. When you pay attention to your body, your breathing, the counting, stretching, it becomes a mindfulness practice where you are being fully present. Typically I like to go for a long run in the morning, but I ran yesterday, and having recently recovered from an injury, I need to rest between my runs for the next week or so. But strenuous exercise is an important part of a routine because you're creating moments of managed stress. To push yourself to do one more push-up, one more lift, one more lunge, the strength comes from overcoming the struggle. You have to overcome your mind and push through. It's training that is transferable to all areas of your life. So those of you who've watched my channel for a while will know I don't really enjoy strength building. I don't hate it anymore, but neither do I love it. This is something I have to do. The way I motivate myself to do it is, even when I don't feel like it, I think about my twilight years, 80s, 90s, what quality of life I want. I'll be running on all cylinders and going until I drop dead. That much I know. And to live a full active life then, you have to start now. Strength and resistance training makes your mind resilient, giving you mental strength to pull yourself out of a situation. Every single time after a workout, I always feel good, more driven and more determined and more motivated to do the next thing. I always feel confident and certain. I choose kettlebells because it's great for mobility and strength. The movements are also similar to day-to-day activities. Cold showers is another thing to try as a morning routine. I'm not going to go into it too much because I've done a whole video on that already. At the end of your shower, whack the temperature to cold. Try that for 20 seconds and see how you feel afterwards. Enduring a 20-second cold shower is a powerful way to train your mind to withstand stress and you also feel incredibly invigorated afterwards. And then, of course, coffee. You all know I love coffee. I used to rush through the act of making coffee because I was so focused on the end result. Or my mind wandered thinking about conversation I had yesterday, what caption to write for an Instagram post. But then I reminded myself to slow down. The act of slowing down pulls you out of your head and brings you into the present moment because your attention is focused on your movement instead of being caught up in your head. And when I slowed down, I was aware that I was aware, which sounds meta, but when you've experienced it, you feel this deeper sense of peace and calm and expansion. And then I focus my attention on the sounds around me, like the kettle boiling or the birds singing. When I intentionally slow down and listen to the sounds around me, I also find I enjoy the coffee more. There's a noticeable qualitative improvement in my experience, and also I savor and appreciate the coffee more. This morning ritual is an act of being kind to yourself. And part of that kindness, crucially, is you must forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for what you should or could have done. Forgive yourself for mistakes. And forgive others for what they did to you intentionally or otherwise. I once chatted to someone, let's call him Aaron. He was bitter, upset, and holding on to hurt towards his sister for the way she treated him many years ago. When I broached the subject of forgiving his sister, he said, and I'm paraphrasing, that some people don't deserve forgiveness. See, Aaron viewed forgiveness as something you give to others. And this is a common misconception. And that by withholding forgiveness towards others, we are avenging them. See, I see forgiveness, and I deeply felt this when I finally forgave a family member after holding on to hurt for the best part of 2 decades. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. Not forgiving someone is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. This quote has been attributed to Marianne Williamson, Buddha, and I don't know who said it first, but it's so powerfully true. I know, looking back, when things weren't going right in my life, to make myself right, I kept blaming my past. Making myself right doesn't make my situation right, but I felt justified. But it's disempowering. Forgiving others is an incredibly hard lesson to learn, but when you do, I promise you, it will set you free for the rest of your life. Unless you're a Zen master, it's difficult to stop negative thinking altogether, but not impossible. But it's easier to keep harmful thoughts out by crowding them out, and you do this by filling your mind with constructive and compassionate thoughts. You can also call them affirmations. The idea of repeating affirmations is to move yourself emotionally. You are intentionally thinking thoughts that changes how you feel. When stating affirmations, keep them general and don't get too specific for them to move you. Here's an example of a volley that helps you build emotional momentum. I know I'm picky and looking for something exactly right. I know that there's plenty of time. I know that this is only temporary. There's plenty of evidence around me to show that things work out. Things can work out for me. Things can change. They will change. Then breathe deeply and say thank you for this earth. Thank you for the trees. Thank you for my body, for my fingers, for my digestive system, for this life. Say thank you. Thank all the magnificent things that are working for you. See, the majority of things in life are working out, but we tend to focus on the few things that are not working. And ask yourself, how can I feel better now? That's the question to ask yourself, and answer it yourself. What 3 things can I do to feel better right now? We don't learn when things go right. We learn the most when things go wrong. But when we tell and retell ourselves nothing's going right, the story we keep telling ourselves plays out as a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's incredibly easy for our mind to bend to the negative, to dwell on the negative. We have to train it to seek the good. Not only seek the good, but hold it for a moment longer in our mind. Spending my time writing down some of the things that are going right. Identify things in your day you appreciate, like I can sit here in a heated room and write this list. The sun is bathing down on me with its beautiful rays. I didn't have to pay for that. Thankful for my healthy lungs and limbs so I can go on long, nourishing runs. I'm grateful for Wi-Fi, it's such an incredible thing, and the internet. We've got the world at our fingertips. The more we look for the good, the more we will notice the good. Reading is an essential part of the self-care process. There are thousands of self-help books and hundreds of spirituality books you can read, and let's not even start fiction and history. But when things aren't going right, the best thing you can read is a biography about someone who has achieved success. See, when you're in that state of things aren't going right, it can be quite hard to give self-help book the attention it deserves for you to reap the benefits from it, which is why I recommend reading a biography about someone you admire. Self-help lessons are baked into the pages of a biography. Not only do you learn about the reality of their situation, like it took Destiny's Child doing 10 years of gigs in schools and colleges and shopping malls all over the country before they were given a record deal. We don't hear about this on Instagram. You'll learn about the days they were broke, they faced rejection after rejection, or how they were on the brink of making it, decision took it all away from them. And how, in the face of so many setbacks, they found the resolve to keep going, to try one more time, and eventually rise. It's deeply inspiring to see someone overcome struggle and achieve success. And after reading it, you feel less alone and you feel more hopeful. And that's empowering. A good morning ritual or routine is one that creates a series of tiny little sparks inside you that lift you up. Changing your life is rarely one big action. It starts with a decision, followed by one tiny action right now. If you do this consistently, months from now, you'll look back and you won't recognize who you were. Hopefully you've practiced some of the rituals suggested, and maybe you're feeling a bit more receptive to doing something different about your situation. So watch this video next to help you set goals and break them down into actionable steps to help you move forward towards a new life. See, having a plan to move forward is more powerful than having a plan to get away from something. So watch this video next to help you break down the steps and get it done.